Yeah.
You spoke about false prophets earlier. What are your
Hmm.
thoughts on your coworker, TD Jakes?
Oh man. All right. So
Yo, welcome to the Black Club. I'm your host and founder of the show, B Note. Today I got a special guest with me. He's a well-respected minister, an aspiring author, a devoted philanthropist, certified athletic trainer, a loving husband, two-time Father of the Year, Mr. Angelo Goshen.
thanks for having me on, man. That intro, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's me. It's like I'm waiting to see who coming out.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. How you been, bro?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Good, good,
How
good.
everything been going for you?
Man, life is life, and I'll put it.
Yeah, yeah.
Life is life.
I like to see it because we from the same neighborhood, we from the same small town. You know what I'm saying? We grew up together, and to see us
Yeah,
both in this type of situation, that's what's up. I like that.
yeah, yeah.
But like I said, we from the same small town. But what was your childhood like?
All right. So when people ask that, you never know where to begin with that, and it's like,
Yeah, right,
oh,
right.
Jesus. Back in my day,
Hey, we at that age now where it's like back in my day.
yeah, yeah. I was out. So man, so we came from humble beginnings, little small rural towns in Arkansas. It was great. We didn't have a lot of materialistic things, but we had a lot of love,
Right,
and
right,
and we had a foundation that our mom set for us. Love, treat people how you want to be treated. The golden rule of life, right?
right.
So what I thought we were missing out on, which was the materialistic things, we actually were full of love, man, and those ground. I mean, like that foundation, like solid ground. And looking back on it, when I used to always want the materialistic things, now I realize like, well, we had everything we needed. We had the love, the respect for one another,
Right.
and the things that we put out was the things that people were looking for. Here I am thinking, oh, we poor, we don't have nothing, but the stuff that we had, people who had the materialistic things wanted. So we grew
Right.
up, like I said, in Gary, Arkansas, little small town, and then I started school there, kindergarten through fifth grade, and then we moved to Prescott, um, and man, and that's just kind of like the childhood. But we had a great time. We had fun. It was my brother and I for the first 7 years of my life. Then we had our oldest baby sister, and then a year after that, another baby sister. So it's four kids,
So you
two
had you
boys, two
had
girls.
you had two brothers and two sisters, right? On
No,
your mom's
so
side.
on my dad's side, I have two brothers only,
Okay.
and then on my mom's side, I have one older brother, then myself, and two younger siblings, two
Okay,
girls.
okay. And what was your relationship like with them?
Uh, so my dad's boys, I didn't spend a lot of time with Kevin
Right.
and James.
Okay.
James being the oldest, Kevin the youngest. I'm the middle on that side, and the same thing on my mom's side. I'm the second, kind of the middle on that side as well. But with my brother Antonio, we grew up, like I said, it was just us two. He was 9, I was 7, when our baby sister was born. So we got to
Right.
play a lot with each other. So it was just us boys. So we did everything that the boys did, right? We climbing trees, falling out of trees, near death experiences, we did
Right. Yeah.
everything that boys did back then. So we had a great time. Like we grew up like it was country, man. We were the only house. We had fields around us, and it was like a couple of ponds. So we would fish, and we were crazy. We go hunt snakes and all kind of stuff, man. So we we were being boys. We used
Yeah.
to break like mop heads off. We would get in trouble for it and stuff, but we would do it anyway. Break knives off, go hunt snakes, man, and we did what boys did: make bow and arrows, do all kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But we had fun. We
That's
did.
what's up. So how was your relationship with your parents?
Good. So I didn't grow up with my dad around. We just developed a relationship for about a decade or so now, but we're solid. And of course, my mom raised us, and I mean, so that is such a love. So mom is great, but she done,
Right, right.
she would do things that we would, like, oh, mom, don't don't do this and don't, it's because you get upset, right, with your
Yeah,
parents.
yeah.
So of course she had those flaws that I thought were just like the world's worst. I can't, oh my mom, I can't believe you did that, but she was great. I watched my mom go through a lot of stuff, and pray her way through it. And when I say pray her way through it, that's kind of what she did. Like when she went through the worst times in her life, I would still walk by my mom's bedroom door and see her down on her knees praying or reading the Bible and all those things. And I used to be like, Mom, you gonna have to do something besides that,
Right, right.
like something. But as a kid, you don't know that those are the foundational pieces, right?
Yeah,
So that was what it was like with my mom. And then when I developed my relationship with my dad, we've been great. Like I said, over the past 10 years or so. He wasn't around when we were young, but I was like, you know what? He's still here. So we have time to build a relationship and just see where it goes. And so that's what I did. I didn't want to take that from him.
yeah,
He
yeah,
reached out and I was like, well, let's build what we have. We have what we have. We have today. And as long as we're here. So let's start with today and let's just see where it goes. And so, because I never want to be that hypocrite person, hypocritical of like, this is the epitome of what we should be doing. Like,
right,
our parents make mistakes, we make mistakes, but we want people to forgive us. So in order to get forgiveness, we have to give it, right? So
right.
it was like, we don't even talk. Like my dad and I, we don't even talk about like, oh, you weren't there, you didn't see this. No, we built from that day when we started talking, and I just caught them up with everything that's been going on from
Yeah.
there, and we're great today. So
That's what's up. I think that's important. Sometimes things happen, you know what I'm saying? And
right,
we can't control it, but it's it's important to start from where we are because what life is short, man, and
yeah,
you never
right,
know, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to have regrets being like, man, I should have started that
Yo,
relationship.
check out my new store, the Black Club Store. We've got men's clothes, women's clothes, kids' clothes, even got playing cards for you spades players out there. You can even get a Black Club pet bowl for you pet owners. We love the pets too. And we're still growing. So there'll be more to come. You can go to the Black Club website at theblackclubpodcast.com and click on the Black Club store. The link is also in the description. So head on over to the Black Club store and get your Black Club gear
I
today.
was researching you for this interview, and I had
hmm
seen where you had did some other interviews where you had talked
yeah,
about failing the fifth grade. I didn't know
yeah.
that. Tell me about that.
All right, so here it goes. So mom called us up. So our mailbox, like our house, was a mile or longer. I mean, I don't even, but we had to walk to the mailbox, right?
Right.
And it was down this gravel road. And mom, hey, go check the mailbox. Typical summer day, school's out. We playing outside. Hey, go check the mailbox. I go check the mailbox. So walking, I'm happy. Skip running to the mailbox door,
Yeah.
having a good time. It's summertime. Man, I get to that mailbox, open the mailbox, boop. First thing I see, a letter from middle school, Gurney Middle School. And
Mm,
had my name on it to the parents of Angelo Goshen. Uh-oh. So, but I know I was like, well, I didn't do anything in school. I didn't get in trouble. So
right.
it can't be that. So I was like, well, I just take it to mom. It can't be bad. I didn't do anything wrong. So, I mean, mind blowing. But then I was like, but what if I did get in trouble? What if I did do something and then I didn't want no whooping? Back then, you
Just
got a
in
whooping,
case, got to be on the
right?
safe side.
So I was trying to avoid that at all costs. And man, so I mean, I had to. You talking about running some quick processes? Talking about my gears were turning, and I was like, should I open the letter? Just take it to mom. Open the letter, take. So I made the decision. Man, I got to open this letter, see what they talking about. See what's going on, and then I can decide on me. Should I give it to mom or do I hide this
Right,
and
right,
nobody knows?
right.
Right. Besides, it had my name on it, so it was mine as well, right?
Yeah.
I didn't care about being a minor. This it had my name on it.
Hey, I got to see what it's about.
Yeah. So man, I opened the letter, reading it, going through the lines. And unbeknownst to me, man, I failed three classes: science, math, English, and so or language.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh man. So I mean, my heart dropped. I mean, I don't even think my blood was circulating. I think everything just stopped moving. Period. I think I just froze in time at that moment. Like, oh my God! Like, how am I going to tell? I didn't want. I didn't want to deal with her.
So
I didn't
you
want to
didn't know
deal
you was
with.
gonna fail. You didn't you
No,
had no
I didn't know
idea.
at all. Had no idea. And so you talk, I'm talking myself up and down, whichever comes first. Like, give it to her? Do I talk myself down? Be like,
Right,
okay,
right.
we can figure this out, man. So I balled it up. I was like, you know what? I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'm not gonna mess up a great summer day, right? Put it in my pocket. Took all of the mail to mama. This is it. Yes, ma'am. Lying, lying. And it's like your parents had a sixth sense, like they
Oh, they
know when
know.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
but and I don't know how she knew, but I knew that she knew something, because she had never asked me that. Like, are you sure this was all? Oh yeah, yes ma'am, for sure. That's it. Maybe because I was animated when I gave it to her, right?
Yeah.
So,
You was acting
um,
different. You just didn't know you
yeah,
were.
I just didn't know I was actually. I was scared to death because I already knew what was coming. I was like, if I give her that letter, the summer is over.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, ain't no more playtime.
uh-uh. So man, I hid that letter. Now this is how kids' mind work, right? So I brought a letter up, and so, man, I had field to throw it in. I mean, trash, everything. But instead, I'm just gonna bottle it up and stuff it in the couch. Don't ask me why. I couldn't answer. Kids think like kids, right? So I stuffed it in the couch and
Man, the
forgot the
last place you was supposed to
the
put it.
last place. And now I don't remember. I think it was about 2 weeks later. Mama comes. So my nickname is Two. So I hear this Two. Uh-oh. And it was the trouble sound.
Oh yeah,
Come
you know
here.
that call.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so now I'm scared. Now I didn't know what I had done, but me and my bro, we were always doing breaking something, tearing up something. I thought she had found something. I forgot that I had tore up or whatever.
Right, right.
Man, tell me why I'm walking from my bedroom into the living room and I see all the pillows on the couch pulled off. But still, I have forgotten all about that letter. I'm talking. I didn't even remember myself.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
And
as a
and,
kid, you
and
done
then
been
I see
playing
her.
and everything.
Yeah, man, my mind went on. And so I see her reading this letter, and so it was so funny because I had forgotten about the letter. And then, but when I saw it, oh my gosh, that's that letter.
Yeah, you
A few
remember
weeks.
then.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, she found it. And so I'm mama asking me about the letter, and I'm asking her, Mom, what you doing in the couch?
Yeah.
Like, what,
Why you even in there?
right? Like looking for loose change. Well, like what we got? Like, why you even looking in the couch? Like, and she said, why you didn't give me this? So I thought, butt whooping is on. Like I
Yeah,
already knew.
yeah,
Let me go find a switch of the belt, whichever one you
yeah.
choose. Kind of lay it out which one you prefer.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing, going to have to pick your own weapon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Weapon of destruction, like that. So
Man,
in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, so I deserve the whipping for lying, for hiding the letter, all not doing my work at school. So it was understood. I wasn't even mad. I was not even mad about that.
right, right.
But she didn't. So it was worse. I had rather gotten the whipping. She said, well, yeah, I'm disappointed, but you're the one that has to go back to the fifth grade.
Ooh,
And man, took the wind right out my sail. I was like,
ooh, that hit a little different,
yeah, whoop
huh?
me, mama, so I can go to the sixth grade. Whoop me into the sixth grade.
Yeah, it don't work like that.
Yeah. And lo and behold, it just so happened when I did that, we were moving to Prescott. So
Okay.
it worked out. But in my mind, I was just gonna try to fake the funk and be like, the sixth grade and fifth grade school supply list was the same, almost identical. And so I
Yeah.
was like, well, she could still get the same stuff. She won't know I'm still. Now, how was that going to work? When she went to parent teacher conference, she's going to be like, no, he in fifth grade.
Yeah, and she gonna be like, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Yeah, yeah. But in my mind, man, I had worked that thing out until that day. But yep, so that's how that happened.
Oh man. So we graduated in '02, right?
Right.
And did you go right to Henderson State right after that, or how did that work?
No, so actually, I went to the community college in Hope
Okay.
first. Um, college is a whole system, right? It's a business.
Right.
And little, I didn't know anything about college. Let me just put that out there. Like I know you go to class and you pay for it, and at the end of all the years you're supposed to go, you're supposed to get this piece of paper saying you have a degree to do something.
Right. You know, in our
And
community, they tell us to go to college, but they don't tell you how, you know.
yeah, so it's a whole system, man. It's a beast. It's
Right.
it's nerve wracking. It's scary. It's especially not knowing what to expect, right?
Right.
So when I went to USCCH, I go, I figure out, I mean, seriously, like everything, like from financial aid to books to all of it. I didn't understand any of it. So I'm going out here green, lost, confused, but I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I had
Yeah.
made my mind up. And people were pointing me, you got to go here to do this, you got to go here to do this, you got to, do all of this, and you got to make the schedule and all that. And all that was fine. But I ended up spending 4 years at the community college. I was part-time student because I was working full-time. But little did I know that, you only have a certain amount of time when you take a Pell Grant.
Yeah.
2 years, 2 years is a community
Yeah.
college.
Right.
Now, although it took four because I was only part time, but I had already had all my credits that I can get at the community college, and no one had told me. So I get this letter in the mail saying, "Hey, you got to transfer out. You gotten all your credits you can get, at UACCH at the time." And man, so I'm scared again. I'm like, "Well, how am I going to work and transfer?" Because I didn't even get my associates because, like, again, I didn't know, like I just didn't know,
Right.
and so I figured out how to transfer. I talked to the right people. They point you in this direction. And I don't want to say give all the titles to these positions because some of them I was like they didn't really do anything. And I don't want anybody to be like, oh, how cancel culture is these days. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
Right. Right.
But
You got to be
I don't
careful.
feel like I got. Yeah, I don't feel like I got the right help along the way. And maybe, and I'm not even saying it's all their fault. I didn't ask the right questions, or I didn't ask any questions. I didn't even know what to ask. So it was just one of those processes. Yeah.
Okay. So you worked at Hope High School, right?
I
Now,
did. When I graduated college, my first job was at Hope.
how was
Yeah.
it?
Hope. So, so I had to teach. Now, I didn't go to school to be a teacher, but they had the sports medicine curriculum.
Okay.
And so, in order to get the job, I had to get my teaching certificate to teach 10 through 12, the sports medicine curriculum. So, I got that, set up my classroom in the summer, because teachers' contracts start, or mine did start in July because of football practice and stuff like that.
Right.
And so in July, I was like, send up my class again, green, not knowing anything, don't know any of the people and the teachers, anything like that. So I'm just freestyle. I'm doing me,
Yeah.
as we say,
Learning
I'm
as you
doing what I
go.
do. Yeah, yeah. So on the fly, man, I was setting up the classroom. I was getting everything to get prepared and nervous, of course, right? You talking about teenage? These ain't kindergartners, fourth grade.
Right. Right.
So they know some things.
It's a different mentality.
So yeah. So my first day, right, teaching the class, like my first class, of course I'm nervous. They don't know, but I know, like my heart is just right. I'm like, oh, what I'm gonna say to these kids, and then you want to like be cool and be friends, but you don't want to be like that teacher that you don't like, right?
Right. Right.
So you got to find that happy medium, right? So that first class, I got a little traction, and I was like, okay. But man, third, my third class, man, there's some kids coming out rowdy. I'll just put it like that. And so they were saying some things they shouldn't have been saying in class, or especially around any adult, really. But they were. So I said, well, I call them out. So they cussing at me. So I'm like, okay, this is one of them classes. All right, so let's lay the ground rules. So now was I right? Nope, but I'm gonna tell the story. Hey, you asked, so I'm gonna tell the story. So they doing their big boy stuff. Oh, we can handle this. Oh, yeah, I think I'm one of them teachers is not gonna do. Okay, let's go
Yeah.
outside. See,
Okay.
now I didn't went because that's what that. Hey, like I can't let you think that I'm scared of you, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, let's go. So the class, ooh, I was like, no, don't do that because y'all finna hype them up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it ain't gonna go where they think it's gonna go because it was two of them. And I was like, now, mind you, I was hoping that it didn't go no further. I was like, please don't get up. Please don't get
Yeah.
please. so, and they didn't. So we kind of talked, but they got up. We went out to the hallway, me and two students, and I kind of I said, I understand. I understand life is hard, especially for young black men. I
Right.
get it. I said, I don't know your home situation, but I'm sure you have stuff that you're dealing with, at home. Then you got to come to school, go to school all day. You don't really want to be here. I understand because I was there once before, right? And we talked it up, and then they apologized. I apologized, and man, the rest of the semester, some of my best kids.
Yeah. That's how it should be,
they,
man. I like to
yeah,
hear that
yeah,
kind of story. You
yeah.
became the head athletic trainer at OBU. How did that come about?
Yeah, so there's a lot, man. There's so much stuff. Like, I have stories for days, but I'm not gonna bore everybody with them. So I had taken a job at another high school that was within the district, but
Okay.
it fell through. Uh, and so I was like, well, I can't come back to Hope because you. I feel like if you don't feel like you can give your all, you don't need to be there. I didn't
Right.
feel like I could give them my all because I felt slighted. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
human. I felt like they did me wrong in me trying to leave that school system. And so I was like, well, I don't want to go back because the kids will suffer. Not just me, but the kids will suffer. I'll be here mad, but I won't be giving them my best because I'm frustrated,
Right.
right? And I didn't find it to be fair. Lo and behold, OBU was hiring for the head athletic trainer. Now I was like, oh, they probably not gonna hire me. All I have is high school, background. And man, they called me for the interview, and they said, "Do you really want this position?" Yeah. The more I thought about it, I was like, what am I signing myself up for?
Right.
College, the
What am I
collegiate
getting
level is
into?
different. Yeah. So man, I took the position and first semester then so I said first semester, but I only stayed one. so so let me tell you how that worked. The so I was the only athletic trainer with the football team. So that's busy in itself,
Right.
right? But one, I had to drive. There's a 45-minute drive to and from work, right? But
Oh, that's
football is a beast. So they they want you there for their practices, for you know therapy after games and stuff. So it's 7 days,
wow.
and I was like, I can't drive 7 days.
Yeah, 45 minutes one way.
Right. And I was like, this isn't gonna work. And then I kind of got, bumped heads with the head coach, because he was on this and I was on that. And I was like, well, this is my license, right? I
Right.
have to do according to what the NATA, National Athletic Training Association, says that we do for concussions or for this or for that, right? I was like, I understand you want your players on the field, your key players, but if they're injured, they're injured, right? So they got
Right.
to sit out and walk it through. And so a lot of times dealing with those coaches was worse than dealing with the athlete and the parents, right? So uh, after that semester, I realized real quick, this is not for me. This is not for me. And so started July, and in December I was turning in my resignation. I was like, no, I'm gonna move around.
That's
It's
what's
time to
up.
do something else. This is not it.
So how long? Yeah, but do you still do that, right? You still a certified
Yeah,
athletic
I'm
trainer?
still. I'm in clinic now. I do not cover sports now.
Okay.
Yeah,
You ever
I'm
work with any professional athletes?
Yes, I have. Of course, I can't say names, but yes, I
Right,
have
right, right.
several. And then at the doctor's office that I currently work at, we see the pro athletes because I'm in Decatur, which is is a neighboring city to Atlanta. So we see um, a lot of pros,
Yeah.
and we
You
see and it's cool because we see entertainers as well. So it's pretty
That's
cool.
what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
What is it like meeting some of them?
Well, so My mom always puts at me about it because I'm not like a starstruck person. They're just people to me. And so
Right, right,
you
right.
didn't do it. Like, nope, I didn't. But they're just people, man. Like when you talk to those, half of them don't even like the spotlight like
Yeah,
that. They just want, you know, whatever's wrong with them, they want to get better and get back to doing what they do, and they don't, and so and I respect that, you know. So I'm not like oh you're this person or you're that person or oh I'm a big fan. I don't do all that. I just go there professional because they're professionals. I'm professional. I do what I'm supposed to do for them. They do what they're supposed to do on the field and in entertainment or whatever, and we go about our business.
that's what's up.
So sorry I don't have no long story about that, but yeah,
Ah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
but
You you became a father at the age of 20, right?
correct. Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Uh, Probably the most, you know, rewarding, but it was the scariest
Oh
uh,
yeah. Yeah.
time in my life because I didn't know how to be a father, right?
Right.
And you don't have a lot of examples. It's even more, you know, terrifying. I
Right.
felt like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have anyone to lean on that was a father that was a father and could be like, hey, expect this, 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 and this. So there's no dress rehearsal. It's go.
Oh yeah.
9 months, baby, come out. Here you are.
Hey, yeah, and it's right on it immediately.
And so on the fly, you're figuring it out. I wish I could go back and do some things over that I know now that I didn't know then, but you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
So you just ask for grace, right? Like, well, I didn't know. You know, I didn't. Because your world and my world is not the same. And so the things that I thought were right, and a lot of them were, but then I had a lot that weren't the best. I'm not gonna say it was like the worst, like you put him in danger and thing, but you know, it offended him, you know,
Right,
or
right.
you know, he'll talk about it then like, Dad, when you did this, this is son, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was swinging and missing, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I could hit it out the park. Sometimes I pop like and get caught out. You know, it's just that's just what it was. But it was also like the first time in my life when I realized my life had purpose outside of me. And so becoming a father did that. He was born on Father's Day, so that was just you know the world's best. Like Father's Day give you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
um, he was he was born on Father's Day, and man, in my life. Had a different meaning, even for me. You know, it was like, okay, now you're Angelo, but now you're Angelo as a father,
Yeah.
right? And so
Everything changed.
now everything you do, you have to figure it out for multiple people, not just for yourself. And you want to
Right.
talk about pressure.
Man. Hey.
That is some pressure. Yeah,
That's
but
what's up.
he'll be 20. He'll be 20 next month. So I got him there. He's an adult now.
Yeah, yeah. You did your part.
I did my part. We survived together. Like,
You know, my second one, she was born on Father's Day. And every few years, her birthday fall on Father's Day.
yeah,
That's kind of a pretty cool feeling, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You moved to Georgia in 2017 by taking a
Right,
job at an army base. How did that come
correct.
about?
So I was working for, I was stationed at Cooper Tire in Texarkana, Arkansas, and I developed an allergy to the carbon dust that's out there. They build tires, right?
Okay.
And one day I just kind of had this cough, and it was out of nowhere. It was a dry cough. It just happened. It was
Oh, what was
kind of
that?
like smoking on breath.
Yeah.
What's this? Like, I'm just coughing. So oh, like, and it progressively got, you know, kept getting worse day by day. I was like, gosh, I'm coughing. So I was like, something is not right. But nothing was coming out. I was strict, like had been a smoker for 40 years, is what it was sounding like. And I was like, but nothing comes out, nothing, just coughing. And so, man, I ended up finding out that I was allergic to the environment at Cooper Tire. And lo and behold, at the time I'm finding this out, I get this call. Somebody wanted to interview me for the job in Georgia. And I was like, perfect timing. So divine intervention. That's I just say
Yeah.
God because I didn't apply for it. But somebody had mentioned my name to the recruiter, who I still don't know to this day. Um,
Oh
but
man.
he gave me a call and he was like, "Hey, I want to set up this interview with you." Whoop de woo. And so I was like, "Fine, cool, cool," because I got to leave anyway. And my goal was to leave Arkansas once I graduated college anyway. And so I was like, "Okay, here's my sign.
Yeah,
It's go
yeah.
time." And so did had the interview. All went well. They offered me the position. I accepted the position.
Do you have a brand or a business that you would like to promote? Drop by the club. Let us share your story your way. Go to the Black Club website at theblackclubpodcast.com and click on Be a Guest. The link will also be in the description. Let us see what kind of magic we can create together.
So you became a minister at what age?
So that was 2018, and how that came about.
2018.
So we we got some talking to do about this. So I was in my apartment one day after work. I
Okay.
heard my name, and I'm talking about like how we're talking right here. I heard my name, plain as day. Mind you, I've just been here a couple of months in Georgia.
Hmm.
I don't know anybody. Who would be calling my name? And then who would be in my apartment calling my name?
Huh.
So I'm like, so it freaked me out. I'm like, this is be honest. It scared me to death. Because it was one, it was inside my apartment. Two, I ain't see anybody.
And
Man,
nobody's
I'm
supposed to
running.
be in here.
So I did, how you tip.
Right, right.
I'm not gonna go in anywhere because I don't want to be surprised. I'm tipping around the apartment, just kind of,
Yeah.
quick look through, and I was like, I didn't see anybody, so I went by and turned the TV on, didn't pick up my phone or anything. I sat on the couch. I said, I'm gonna see if I hear that again. Heard my name again, plain as day. I said, okay, somebody playing.
Yeah.
So this time I take some. I was like, this time I got weapons with me. I was like, I gotta figure it out. So I grabbed knives, guns, everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta figure something
Hey,
out, see
you
what's
got to
going
see what's
on.
going on.
So this time, as I do the once episode, but this time I go into the bathroom, pull the curtains back, look in closets, under the bed, in everything, man. That was on my side. Then I go to my son's side, looking through everything. I was like, didn't see anybody. I'm tripping now. It's like, okay. Then I thought my mind. I finally
Yeah.
the breaking point. I'm here
Really
now.
hoping that's what it was.
I was like, okay. My mind finally is life pressure finally done got me.
Yeah. That's it. That's
Yeah, this
it.
is it. So I sat on the couch, man, and I don't know why, but I something just was like, well, I didn't check with God. So I said, yes, Lord, out loud. Like, is that
Yeah.
you? Like, there
Yeah.
was nobody here. So I was like, okay.
I'm
And
hoping
so
it's
I
you,
was like,
Lord.
yeah. So so that experience, so I was afraid, right?
Okay.
And then I said, okay, God, if that was you, then show me what you want me to do. Like, you got to let me know. I don't know if you're calling me to ministry, just calling me, then talk to me. We have a come one on one. What we got going on?
Right, right, right.
And so that night, I had a dream, and it was me preaching, right? So, and I was like, So I woke up the next morning. I called my mom. Hey, mom, I had a dream. I called a couple of my minister friends. Hey, like I'm just talking to any and everybody who would listen, trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. Like, what does this mean if you have this and you hear your name? So I'm breaking the story down. So, and I'm not want to believe what they're telling me. That's, oh, God got a calling on you and da da da. I was like, no, I don't know. Like,
No, no.
I'm not for that. You know, I got too much. I done done too much. I done seen too much. I don't think he calling me.
Yeah, right, right. And I
And
don't
so,
think God gonna be calling me for that.
right. So that I said, well, God, that's nice, but I could have just had a dream because I was thinking about it. That very same that next night after that one, had a more vivid dream. But this time I could see myself. I was preaching. I had my mom on stage with me. We were in all white, and
Hmm.
I could hear my message and everything. I mean, it was plain as day. And I was
You
like,
asked him to show you.
yeah. So I woke up the next morning and I was like, God calling me into the ministry. Now, what am I supposed to do with this? Because I never, man, like it's terrifying, right?
You
Like
never
I'm just gonna be
pictured
honest.
yourself doing
Right,
that.
right. and it's more terrifying because look at the world. Like, so people are so judgmental, and I didn't want that, right? But it's not about what I want. It's about what God is calling me and needing me to do for Him. And so I had to change my thinking, right? But in that process, I learned a lot. So I remember as a kid being taught, Bible. You go to Sunday school and you hear the stories of the Bible, right? And
Right.
they break it down in children's form so you can understand it, grasp the concept, right? But man, when you start reading that Bible for yourself and you
Hey.
realize those stories weren't so peachy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. And so, but no, so when people ask me like how man, I didn't want to be like some people go to school and want to be. I was called,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was trying to avoid it at all costs. But here we are.
That's what's
So
up. So how do you
yeah.
use your ministry to better your community?
So easy. So I try to live my life according, and when I say that, according to what God called me to do. We have a lot of false prophets in the world today, right? We have a lot of people straddling the
Right.
fence. A lot of people do, and I did not want that. I was like, well, God, if you call me, well, then I want to do it the right way, and
Right.
my life have to show you in me, right? And so it took a lot. You have to step up to the plate, man. It's not easy. Like people think it's like, oh, it's just this light come down, you see the little dove, and then it's like, man, it is work. But in the community, you want them to see that, right?
Yeah.
So whatever community you live in, you just try to get your name out there, let people know what you stand for, and what your goal is, right? What it is in ministry that you're aspiring to do and be, and who
Right.
you're trying to reach. So you have to do a lot of stuff in the community. We just moved to this community we live in now. We're like 30 minutes outside of Atlanta, and we're new here, so we just played a year here, and so it's nerve wracking because I don't know anyone yet. Of course, we go to church and all that, but I don't know people yet, so I'm learning in this community. But back when we lived in Columbus, Georgia, um, I was in the church, of course, and doing things in the community to get your name out. But like I said, it's not even about me. I learned how to let God get all the glory, but I'm just a vessel. And so, whatever you can do to help people, I mean, it's simple stuff. You don't even have to do like my wife is big on want to feed the homeless, and but you gotta put yourself out, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's scary. That scares me still to this day. Like I'm not
Getting out of
perfect
your
at it.
comfort
I
zone.
do it. Right, but it's hard. It's hard, and it gets scarier as you go. The next thing, because it's always a leveling up to me that scares me. Like, well, we
Yeah.
did this, we were successful at that. Now the next thing, and then you get to that, and now the next thing, right?
And it
And
just get
so
bigger as it goes.
it get big and big. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what's up. So, approaching the younger generation is different these days.
it
How do
is.
you use your ministry to approach the younger generation?
Well, because we have to again back in my day.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, but seriously, I learned that so to bridge a gap, you have to you have to be in the know, right?
Right,
And
right.
you have to know what they're dealing with. The things that they deal with is not are
Got to
not
be
the
able to
things that I have
relate
to
to
deal.
them.
Yeah. And so you have to do your homework. Yeah, you
Yeah,
have you have
yeah,
to know what's going on. Like like do I listen to rap? No, but I used to, so I
yeah.
understand. But the Kendrick Drake stuff, okay, let me see what they're talking about. And so let me see what because we have kids, 26
Right.
and 20. And so I want to know what they're listening to, what they got going on. And so my daughter hit me with, "Hey, who you think winning the Drake and Kendrick
Yeah.
beat?" So now I got to go do it. Like, let me figure it out because that's her conversation. I'm not one of those people be like, "Hey, you need to." I was
Yeah.
26. I was 20, so I understand. And so I had to go freshen up on see what's going on, who talking about what's. So to get my opinion, right? That's what my daughter wants to talk about. So let's talk about
Yeah.
it. But and I'll probably get, oh, he's not a real minister. Man, but that stuff don't bother me. I know, what
People
God
gonna
called me
talk
to do.
anyway,
Right.
regardless if you're
And
doing good or bad.
right. But in order to have that relationship, you got to know what's going on. I use that same principle when I'm trying to reach the youth, right? Because you got to know who these 21 Savage and the baby and Lil Baby, you got to know who these people are. Like I said, I don't have to support their music, but I need to know who they are. So
Yeah,
when a kid holler at, like, hey, 21 Savage got a song, blah, 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 at least I know who 21 Savage is and know
yeah,
what he looks like. I don't have to know his music, but oh, yeah,
yeah. I know who he is.
yeah.
You can at least say
and,
that.
and then that's cool, but then I can easily break down their walls because youth have walls up too. Like, do
Yeah,
I trust this person? They're older. They don't know anything about us. But when they realize that you at least have an idea of what's going on, right? It's
yeah,
easier for them to let that wall down, and then you can get through. Like, hey, I used to listen to this. These were the rappers, Lil Wayne or Master P, or
yeah,
those are the people I grew up listening to, right? I'm like, oh, and then they realize like you're a person as well, even in
yeah.
ministry. But I wasn't always a minister. I didn't come out of ministry.
Right,
Wasn't
right.
born and got the cross. Like,
You had a
I had to
life
go
too at
through
one
that.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. And but once they see, like, oh, so you had to, because I always tell people there's levels to ministry. People don't
Right.
want to hear that, but it's the truth. My walk doesn't look like your walk. Where I am might not be where you are. Like, I know the stories about because I read them myself. I don't take
Yeah,
what a preacher says, and that's what I encourage people to do. Don't just take my go read it and see what God gives you in that book,
yeah,
right? Because it might not, and you might can help me with something,
right.
So, and that's how you do it. That's how you get to the youth. You have to be relatable, and that doesn't mean go do what they do. It just means have an understanding of where they're coming from. Because if
Yeah.
you don't have an understanding or an idea, why would they talk to you?
Why would they even listen to you? You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Yeah,
right.
right.
So because I'm like, well, you don't know what's going on. Like, you got to know the latest drugs. Like, that don't mean you partake in it. You just got to know what's going on in your community,
I
whether it's
agree.
gang activity, whether it's this drug, whether it's you have to be in the know.
Yeah,
So when they come, because it happens, people do want to talk. You People love to talk. We just didn't know that.
right.
You ask the right question at the right time, you'll get a story.
That's what's up.
But if you so unrelatable, if you holier than thou, and you lose people, our job is to lead people to Christ, not to me. And that's the thing about church, is why I kind of, with the church today, I say it's failing. I probably get booed for this too, but it's failing because we've got inside of a box. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying
Yeah,
go be of the world. We're in the world, know what's going on, but I'm not saying ride down bumping music trying to prove a point. But I am saying that we have to come outside that church walls to reach the people in the
right,
streets. Like, if
right.
everybody in your church are saved, then who are you saving? Who else is getting saved?
Yeah,
If all of us are saved, then the world still got a lot of people that's not saved. So, but we get so comfortable. We go inside these churches and we're so comfortable. Oh, and we're not helping anybody.
that's true.
So
So
that's
if
my two
someone
cents on that.
if someone comes to you and they're saying that they're struggling with their faith, how do you handle that?
Because I'm relatable with that, because I struggle with mine.
Right, right, right.
uh, because it was taught, and I hate to say this way, but there's no other way to say it. So the way I was taught was incorrect. So as I was growing up, teenage years, young adult years, like how I heard pastors preaching, and they use certain, scriptures to make their point. And then when you go back and read it, you're like, wait a minute, that's not what that meant.
Mm.
So, and this is not saying every sermon is wrong. Please don't counsel me. But what I'm saying is you have to be aware of what they're doing. The Bible tells us there'll be false prophets, right? So you need to read that so you'll have an understanding. And so when somebody's giving you, then you can take it like, yeah, it did say that, but who were they talking to in that passage? What was going on?
The full
There's
context.
more to than just this one like this one scripture. There's a
Right.
whole lot before and a whole lot after. So what would this message? Because our world doesn't look like their world.
True.
So the Bible is just a tool that if we apply it to life, we can have what it says we can have. But that's not our world. and I'll leave it there.
So, well, I'm asking that, do you want your own church one day?
Loaded question.
Yeah.
Uh, I, so how I look at church is me. I'm the church. All right.
Right.
So I take church with me everywhere I go.
Mm,
Um,
I like
because I
that.
look at it, it's me. So it's always with me. I don't need a building, right? So if I can have a conversation with you and you're willing to listen, well then great, and then we can have a conversation. But I'm not a big Bible thumper. I use life because how I use the Bible, I match it to life, like a real circumstance that I've gone through. Y'all say, well, well, he ain't part the Red Sea. Moses is right
Yeah.
on God part
Yeah.
the Red Sea. Well, how many times have you been in trouble and needed a way out, and your Red Sea was parted by God, right?
Hmm.
Because y'all looking at it like in the physical, but you got to think of it beyond that. How many times have you had your enemy at your back and a Red Sea in front of you, and God still brought you through? That was your Red Sea. That you were there. That was Pharaoh and them at your back, the water in front of you, right?
Yeah.
How many situations? How many times have you been in the lion's den? Daniel in the lion's den, right? Numerous times I've been in a situation where I feel like, okay, God, please close these lions' mouths so I can escape, right? And He's done just that. Now, was it an actual lion? No, but people are lions, and sharks, and bears. Oh my, right? so, so, so we see these things, right? And we don't understand, but like, yes, God is still doing what He's done always. Back then, He's still doing it today. It just presents different.
Just look a
And
little
so when
different.
people, yeah, and so when people say, "Well, I don't believe in it," so I hit them with this: I didn't either
Hmm.
until I had X, Y, and Z happen, and when nobody else to call on, can call my mom, can call my dad, brothers, sisters, and nothing. It was like, okay, this is real. This is real. This is the fourth quarter, three things.
Yeah.
Something got to happen. Like
This
I
is
need
it right
them.
here.
And then when God does it, then I know it was Him because man couldn't have done it. So I give them real life.
Yeah.
Well, the Bible was written all these years ago, thousands of years ago. So how do you? Well, I got some stories for you. Boom, boom, boom. And I got the scars for some of them. So,
Right. I can show you.
so that's how, because if they can relate to it, well, then it's more palpable, right? And then they can be like, oh, I understand. Like, yeah. So use the Bible. Of course, the Bible is true, but apply it to your lines, then apply it to your David and Goliath, apply it to you, because we all go through it on a, and guess what, day-to-day basis.
Right.
We don't go through it once. We might have
Right.
to slay 7,000 giants in a
Right.
lifetime. I mean, seriously, we might have to get that slingshot a bunch of times. you know, like
For
we
real.
might have to be at that Red Sea standing up there looking and wondering, like, oh man, they gaining on me, like a bunch of
Yeah.
times throughout our life. But if people can see that that's true to today, it applies to today, then you start breaking down those walls. And I'm not saying you're going to win everybody, because the people who don't believe just aren't going to believe no matter what you say or what you tell them. And
Yeah.
you have to be okay with that. You don't have to get into an argument with anybody about your walk. My walk is my walk.
Right.
I can tell you, I've tried God, and I'm not even gonna say God, Jesus, my relationship with Jesus, because that's what I go through to get to God. So when I built that relationship with Christ, and I've seen Him help me in my worst of times, and so I know that He's real. And even if you don't believe me, it's not my job to argue with you about that. I'm gonna pray for you,
Right.
but I'm not gonna argue with you, and I'm not trying. I don't have to convince you. I tell people you got to try it for yourself.
You had a marriage before your marriage now. What happened with
Correct.
that one?
Me, in some cases. uh, uh, I got in. I got in. No,
Whoa.
no. All jokes aside, so um, it happened to be that you have to understand marriage. I didn't understand marriage, right?
Right.
Um, you have to understand who you are and where you are. I try to tell everybody, know you, know yourself. And people think because you walk in your flesh every day, you don't know. B, I had to figure out who I was. I had to learn me.
Yeah.
Like what? what I don't like, what I will not accept, what I will accept. And if you don't have those conversations with yourself and you're not being real, don't expect anything to last. And that's with marriage, friendships, jobs, anything. If you don't know you
Yeah.
can't help anybody else.
Right.
And I was in that marriage and for 7 years and I was miserable, but I didn't know it. And I'm not saying pointing fingers, oh, she was bad, I was bad. No, I'm saying because I didn't do the work on me, I didn't even know. You get what I'm saying? I didn't know
Yeah.
like what to accept, what not to accept. So I did things that I wasn't supposed to do, things that I wasn't proud of, and infidelity played a part in it. And I'm not ashamed. So people, that's just such a big thing. But so when I talk about that, I'm trying to help somebody else. It's not about anybody. It's about me. I look at what I did wrong, right?
Right.
That doesn't mean she didn't have. Ooh, please understand that. That does not mean she didn't do her stuff.
Right. Right.
But I don't care about her stuff. I can control me, and I didn't do a good job controlling myself.
That's
Does
what's up.
that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I had to learn how to be a husband, a father, a son, a brother, a friend, an uncle. I had to learn those things. And if you haven't learned those things, you have a lot of work to do. You have to learn how to play your roles in everybody's life that's in your circle and who's around you.
You've been married now for about what, 5 years?
Going on 5 years, yes.
Okay. How did you meet your wife?
Church, the actual church building.
That's what's up.
So my wife walked in. So one day, I was the director of pastoral outreach at the church I was a member of in Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
And so I was standing in front of the church, and I saw her walk in. She came in by herself, and so but you build up to acting out, right? So you play. So I played my role for a few months. Like, okay,
Yeah,
every
yeah,
time I
yeah.
see her, like
You
she
got
always come by herself.
to.
I don't never see a man, so that's a sign. So then
Yeah. Check
I
the
built up,
finger.
worked up. Yeah. So I finally built up enough nerve to get close to her, have a little conversation after church with her, because she used to come to church, man, get that word. She was out. She was, because I was looking for her, but I didn't get to, catch up with her because I had work to do, within the church. But I made a point this time, like, let me set everything up so I can go catch up with her. She comes. And man, so she walked in, but I was sitting in the foyer of the church when she
Okay.
walked in. So we locked eyes, and I was like, mm-hmm. And then at that time, I could see no ring on the finger. She by
Yeah,
herself
yeah.
again. Hey, it's an opening there. And at this time, I had been watching for about a couple months. Just trying to see. I got up. Hey, how you doing? Did my little thing.
Yeah, right, right. Now it's time to make a move.
So, she spoke. I was like, okay. So she smiled. So she don't think I'm creepy or anything like that. So
Yeah,
all
yeah.
is
That's a
well.
good sign.
So man, so after that day, a couple more times, small talk, small talk, small talk. Then I finally just asked her out one day. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
take my number, go grab dinner, or something like that. And she was like, so she smiled, and I was like, yep, I'm in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So she said, yeah, of course. So we went out on our first date, and it was great, man. We laughed and laughed.
Where,
It's
where,
like
where
we've
you
been
take her? Where you take her on your first day?
so so it's this restaurant. Oh Lord, what's the name of it? Epic, Epic, I think. Because it's in
Did you
Columbus.
wait? Did you meet her in Texas? I mean, in Arkansas or in Georgia?
Nope, here in Georgia.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. And so we went out, man. So I got that location from my then pastor. He was like, take her to this place. Uh,
okay.
my first time ever going, I had a hard time finding it myself. I was like, Lord, I hope she could find
Hope I
it. I
ain't
was
sent
like,
her
man.
somewhere.
Yeah. But lo and behold, they always be fashionably late women for the most
Oh, well,
part.
you gotta expect that.
Yeah. So I found the restaurant, got a seat. So I was like, okay, I'm good. So,
Yeah,
when she let me know she's here, I go out there and greet her. And it worked out perfectly like that. She texted me when she got there. I went out, greeted her, took her hand, walked into the restaurant, took her to our seats.
Yeah.
No, like I said, man, it's like we've been married for 25 years. It's like I've known her my whole life, seriously. And I know people, like, I know the difference because I never felt that way before.
Right.
So
Right.
I was like, okay, so this is different. So this is what this is supposed to feel like. And this is because you've matured now. You've figured out who you are. And so now you know you can offer this to this person and mean it,
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was a big difference.
When you got ready to propose, how you do
Man, so,
it?
so it was not traditional. All right, so you asked, I'm gonna give it to you.
Hey.
It was very I ain't gonna say it wasn't we were at her house. so
Okay.
uh and and I don't know what came over me because it was real spread of moment. That's facts.
Hey, that'd
Um
be the best ones right there.
yeah. Like I hadn't even thought about it. Like I knew I was like, man, I can see myself building with her. But I was
Yeah.
like, we only been together for, talking for a few months. A matter of fact, like 4 months. And but we were having a great time.
Right.
And we were at her house, man. So uh it's great to me. I kind of get excited about it since but so we were sitting there watching TV. Then she had a bar and she had two bar stools right there. So we went. I think we were fixing to fix something in the kitchen. We
Uh-huh.
went, sat down in the bar, and something just hit like, now's the time. Like, you know how you just get like I don't know, boy. I be hearing like this is the Holy Spirit talking to him. I believe,
Yeah. Yeah.
and because I wasn't even thinking about it, but facts. And so I just like, you gonna laugh, but it was true. I was like, you want to get married like that? Like not when you married me, like because it was. It wasn't rehearsed at all.
Man.
And so, and I thought she was like, and I could tell, I was like, man, did I really just say that?
What
Like,
what did I just do?
yeah, like in my head, it went a little differently than when it came out. So, and she was like, are you serious? And I was like, and then my heart racing. Now I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I meant that. And then she's like, yeah, but you don't have a ring. You didn't actually propose. I was like, no, I didn't. so, so I finally went and got a ring and did it the right way. But the initial was you want to get married?
That's the most memorable one right there.
Yeah, because then when I proposed, because it was kind of like when I actually got down on my knee, uh, it like we already had the conversation, so it's just kind of
Yeah,
like
it was
just put
easier
a
at that
ring
point.
on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You
yeah.
you spoke about false prophets earlier. What are your
Hmm.
thoughts on your coworker, TD Jakes?
Oh man. All right, so we'll talk about this for a little bit. All right, so I just feel like sometimes in mega churches, these pastors they lose their way. They lose sight of God. I believe they
Okay.
start off great,
Right,
for
right,
God. They're on fire for God and leading people to Christ. But then after so long, right, you have donors, right? People, millions of dollars. Money, man, make you change a whole lot of ways about
Ah, yes,
yourself.
yes.
And so I feel like they get so large that they forget Christ. And I'm only speaking from the outside looking in. And
Right,
when you take Christ out of it, you're in trouble no matter what. Man can't do it that way. And when you take Christ, I think he just took he had his eyes on the Lord, and I think he just took his eyes off the Lord.
right,
And he found himself where he is, now. And he just have to rededicate himself and get back focused on what God called him to do.
right.
Um, because nobody's above that, right? I'm not above it. I can get lost, lose my way. So I don't be like, oh yeah, but at the same time, when you try to double down on it, then
Right.
now I'm questioning because he doubled down on it. Well, if I
Yeah.
did do that stuff, what you mean? If you did do it,
Right.
it was right.
you
If you
you know
did,
whether you did
all
or
I have to
not.
do, right. If I did, well, all I have to do is repent. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
See, people think that we're called to be different. And you can repent, but you're gonna pay for it.
you had to a
You
different
will pay
standard.
for it. And we ain't even talking about from men. From man, God is gonna come talk to you, and you're
Yeah,
not gonna like
you're
it.
gonna have to have that conversation.
Yeah, and because you're supposed to be leading people, right?
Right, right,
And if you're leading the people, just certain things that you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be partying with certain people. You shouldn't be taking money from certain. You shouldn't be worried about the none of that. What part of that leads people to Christ?
right.
So you now you've turned into you just gain it for yourself, and a lot of them get lost like that. A lot of and then it don't even have to be the mega churches. It's small town pastors that money get to cut. Oh man,
Yeah,
like
everything
y'all,
changes.
you working in the flesh, and when you
Yeah,
do that, man, you fall off,
yeah,
and you can but you have to be willing to, and you have to accept it. Like, see, he didn't accept it. He's like, if I did do it, like you
yeah.
doubling down, like admit you were wrong, and it's okay.
Right.
We're sinners, right? We're gonna have the only thing different from me being is I don't wake up with the intent to go do anything wrong. If I say something or do something wrong, it was purely in that moment, it was an accident. But I don't wake up, oh, I'm mad at my coworker. I'm gonna cuss them out today if they say something wrong. I don't go with it. Now, do people get on my nerves? Of course.
Right.
We're people, right? I just don't go at it that way. I don't look at it to I try to figure out how can we rectify our differences and move on, right?
Right.
But that don't mean we have to be best friends. I don't have to go eat at your house. You don't have to eat at my house.
Yeah.
None of that. It just means like we accept our differences. We don't have to agree, but we don't have to be enemies either.
Right.
I might not fool with you, but that don't mean I hate you or dislike you. It just we don't our wavelengths aren't the same. We'll never get in alignment. We always gonna be and that's
Yeah.
okay because we're not for you're not for everybody, I'm not for everybody, nobody else
Right.
is, right?
Right.
So we're gonna have differences that we'll never see eye to eye on. But that doesn't mean you're my enemy. And if I can get people to understand that, right, then we're good. But a lot of people think, well, if we don't agree on this, well, then we have to be enemies. And that's so who got time to wake up and be mad at somebody every day for the rest of your life? Like,
Mm,
I'm mad, I don't like that
that's
person.
exhausting.
Like, oh, who does like people do that though? And I'm not one of them. I'm not, I don't
Yeah.
want you to live rent free in my mind and heart.
Right. That's too much
Like I'm gonna be
control.
mad.
They
Right,
give people too much
right.
control over their life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spilled Milk.
Mm-hmm.
First book. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Boom.
Bam.
So Spill Milk came about. So years before I wrote this book,
Yeah.
um, I had an idea, no title, no nothing. I was just like, I'm gonna write a book. This is about 2014, 2015,
Okay.
somewhere in there. And the idea came, but I was in Arkansas at the time and going through all kind of stuff, and it didn't seem right at that time. When I got to Georgia, one day I was carrying some groceries into my house and had a gallon of milk. And I was trying to switch hands to get the key to the front door and
Yeah.
drop the milk spilling out on the porch. But it was sitting up, so I'm trying to figure out how is the milk spilling. Like I'm like, what? It's just coming
Yeah.
out the
That's
pan.
odd.
It's like going down the porch. I was like, so I opened the door. I wasn't even mad, and this is how I knew like it was meant to be.
Right.
I wasn't tripping. I was like, I'll just go get another gallon of milk. No big deal. Did I want to? No, but I needed the milk. So at that time, and so I just went in the house, got the stuff, got a pitcher of water to pour, rinse the milk off. And then I looked at the gallon of milk and it had, burst, those indentions on those gallon of milk thing, it had burst
Yeah.
out, right? So, and that's where the milk was coming from. And, and I was like, that's an odd way for the milk, to be spilling. But I went back in the house to get another pitcher of water, and it hit me, spill milk. Okay, I said, oh my gosh, this is my book title. So I'm
Yeah.
excited because I remember hearing, when we were young, Mama said it, and other people said, don't cry with spilled milk, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be a great book title. I got the concept of the book already, da 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 da. And so I'm excited. I'm like, Mom, I got the name for my book. I'm gonna write it.
Yeah.
This is the time. I'm excited to open some spilled milk. And of course, I get online. And what do we go to? Google. I was like, is this title available? And which you
Yeah.
can name a book whatever you want, right? People don't own words,
Right.
but there was a spilled milk already out, and I was like, oh, it's like, but I knew I wanted spilled milk, and and the Holy Spirit said, man, think about all the things you've gone through from trauma, and
Right.
look at what you've accomplished
Right.
to triumph. And so, spilled milk from trauma to triumph was born.
That's it. That's what's up.
And so, in 2020, I was able to sit down because guess what happened? The pandemic, right? Or the pandemic, or whatever people, it's all kind of theories out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And but anyway, but the world was still right. Nobody was going to work. The healthcare in certain entities. But I sat there, man. I started writing that book in like the end of August, and that book was ready in October. First book, and it's still my baby, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that
I
book, I
enjoyed it.
just yeah, thank you. So I just tell people like, man, this is it. So people like, you wrote a memoir? And I was like, yeah, because I feel like there's some stories that can help everybody in that book.
You never
Um,
know.
right. And then I'm like, and I went through it, but I wanted to be able to help somebody else.
Right.
Were some of those stories hard to write? Yeah, it's embarrassing to talk about yourself sometimes, man, especially when you do some
Right.
idiotic stuff or you do some stuff that was very unsavory, shall we say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and and people can look at you and judge you, but I don't. You know what? B, I learned that I don't care about being judged. Like if you feel that way, because I know who I am.
Yep.
So I was
Yep.
like, hey, that don't even bother me. Like people gonna talk about you
Regardless.
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 And so Spill Milk was born. So like I said, and I'm just highlighting and talking to people. I really want that book for one person. For one person. If that one person can get that book, read it, and get some out of it that help them, great. Now, when I say one person, that means I'm talking because I don't want to think about like I'm writing to the world.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
essentially that's what you're doing. But I want if I can pinpoint to one person. If
Yeah.
this one person can get something out of it. But then I took the pressure off myself writing that book. I wasn't
Right.
pressured. Yeah.
So what inspired you to become an author initially?
Uh that it was just that voice, that inner voice. You can do this, right?
Right.
Um I always be like, we come from humble beginnings, like I said. So we
Yeah.
didn't have much, man. So all this stuff that I used to see, like people, authors, right? Movie stars, producers, all these people, athletes, and all this. And you figure out, like, wait a minute, I'm not 6'8", so I'm not going to the NBA anytime soon, right? So,
Right.
I might can play, but I'm 5'9". Now, that doesn't mean there's been some 5'9" and shorter people in the NBA, but I didn't have that skill set.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
skills was just like playground.
Yeah. Yeah. Good enough for the part.
That's it. And so those people had to start somewhere, right?
Right.
And so if they were able to do it, I should be able to do it.
That's what's up. Your second book, Myopia, Blurred Vision. Talk
Yeah.
about that one.
We got that one. Boom.
Okay. Okay.
So about that book, right? So we were going through a lot in America at this time when I wrote that book, right? So the
Okay.
George Floyd's of the world, the massage shoot up, massage parlors when that guy shot up in
Oh yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, we were going through a lot of gun violence, right? A
Right.
lot of police brutality, a lot, and my spirit was frustrated, not my flesh, my spirit. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm restless, I'm restless. I'm like, God, what am I supposed to be doing? Like so many people dying, so many people, being hurt and harmed, and
Right.
it seemed like nobody's doing anything about it. It's just let it go, let it go. And so, and I was like, that's a book. And my wife was like, well, name it something, she was like myopia. And I was like, because I work in healthcare. And my
Right.
wife, she gave me that myopia. And I was like, you know what? That's good. But then I was like, but what would I say about it? Because I want people to think it's a book about your
Yeah.
eyes and something like that. And I was like, oh, babe, myopia, blurred vision, because our vision has
Mm.
become blurred. Because if people think we don't have problems in America, blurry vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. It's one of the two.
Yeah. So I wrote that book speaking specifically to all the things that we're facing in America, especially, and but it's not just black people. I talk about the shooting, for the age, for everybody. It's the book is for everybody to open our eyes
Right.
to see that we have work to do, and if we keep lying to ourselves,
Yeah.
uh, this community lying about that community and this community lying about that community, then what do we ever get? And that's why we still have all this
Right.
turmoil, and we get nowhere. Think about it. Over the past couple of elections, like neither president, I mean, I particularly care for either, right?
Right.
So, but look at, I remember back earlier, right? Presidents you could see like when Clinton and Bush, they would work together on certain things,
Yeah.
two different parties, but they would at least have conversations. But look how divided we are, right?
Yeah.
And like Trump and Biden despise or sings one
Yeah.
another,
It seems.
and so they don't communicate. So both sides have something to offer, but
Right.
everybody wants all or nothing
Yeah.
from either party. Like it's not
Yeah.
going to be all or nothing. Like it just
You have
doesn't
to
work
give
like
a
that.
little to get a little.
Right. But that's what Myopia Blurred Vision is talking about. Like we have work to do as the entire world.
You also have a third book. Is it out or it's
Yeah,
coming out? Called
it's coming out.
Overcoming
Overcoming
Self-Inflicted
self-inflicted
Wounds.
wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about that
So,
one.
and in this book, so one, I'm rewriting like probably most of the chapters because I read it and I was like, doesn't it's good,
Yeah.
but it can be, and I hate that's one thing about it. I hate reading my own books because I'm never happy. I'm never satisfied. I always
Perfectionist.
so I write and write and write, and then
Yeah.
so this book supposed came out like 2 years ago, and I'm still sitting on. I was like, nope, I'm gonna rewrite this book until it feels like and it reads how I want it
Right.
to. And so, but it's almost complete, and I'll let people know when it's out because I was gonna
Okay.
release it in November. It's pretty much done. I just haven't released it yet.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
You went to the mayor's ball too, right?
I did. I've gone out with my aunt Loretta, her husband, my uncle Chester.
What was that
Um,
like?
it was it's great. We had fun when we go. Um, it's always nice to mingle and
Yeah.
learn,
Network.
all kind of stuff, man. You learn all kind of things at that mayor's ball, what they're doing in the community. So it's big. It's actually in Alabama where the mayor comes, but they always have it in Columbus, Georgia, at the mayor's ball. But they're just talking about what they're doing in their community scholarships. They help those kids out. Oh my gosh, it's just wonderful. I want myself to grow like that one day. But
Well,
yeah,
you'll
man.
get there.
Yeah.
You got a foundation also.
Yeah.
Field
So the
Milk
Spill Mills
Foundation.
Foundation. Yeah.
Talk about
So
that.
my wife and I give a scholarship $1,000 out of our pocket,
Okay.
and so essentially that came to me with Spill Milk, like the book. It just kind of came to me. It's like I want to give back, and at first I was just doing it to my alma mater in Prescott, Arkansas, Prescott High School students,
Right.
and then got sick, had some surgeries, going through some things, and so we had to pull back. So we didn't do it the last year, and then we still owe the year before that. We owe two students, and we're gonna get it to them. Don't nobody fight about it. It'll blow our heads off. We're gonna get there. But to get everything properly aligned right, there's a lot of steps and a lot of
Right.
work that goes into it. And so,
I
but when you
understand.
take yourself out of that equation for a little while to try to get healthy, stuff get lost in translation, right? And
Right.
so, I want to set it up going forward to where whether I'm here or not, it continues to go. And so, it's taking a little more work, a little more, a little more effort to get it to where it's that point,
Right.
and but we're approaching that.
So when it comes to like your ministry, your writing, what's your message that you want to deliver?
Don't give up. And it
I like
seems
that.
so simple, but we give up a lot of times too soon.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean like a step too soon. Our breakthrough is one more step. but we stop because it's gotten too hard. It's too
Right.
heavy, and we
Right.
don't want to go. But if we would took that just one step, and I don't even mean the other foot have to follow. Just take that one step over that line, and you'll get your breakthrough, right? Of whatever it is. That's just in life in general. And but we stop too soon. That step too soon. So I want people to understand, like, but if you keep going, look at all the stuff that I've gone through, and with health, with failed marriages, with just life.
Right.
And understand like I didn't give up and I didn't let that stop me from continuing on. And
Right.
so once people learn that, then they'll understand like it's worth life is worth living. And so that's my message. And that's what I want to just keep going. Just keep going.
That's what's up.
Don't quit on yourself. Don't give up. Life is hard. Life is hard. And it only gets better to get hard again. And
Yeah.
it better
That's
to get
true.
hard again. And so you got to learn. It's just gonna be, your peaks and valleys, right?
Right.
You're gonna be up, and you're gonna be down, and but don't give up when you're going through your valley, right? Because you'll come back up,
Right.
but do what's necessary. Because each time we're getting stronger and we're getting better, right? So
Yeah.
all of my valleys, I was like, okay, I learned something in that valley, and I got to climb back to the top.
Right.
And I had to go back down to the valley, learn some more stuff, and I climb back to that. But every time I did it, I'm becoming a better person.
Right. How has it been having your wife along this journey?
Great. So my wife is my motivation for a lot of things. Like she's one like because I can bounce ideas off of her. She be like, because she believes in me like more than I do. And that's just
That's what's up. That's what's
so
up.
she'll say, I hit her with an idea. She try it. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Then she say something. Yeah, you can do that. And then I hit her
Yeah.
with something else. Yeah, you can do that. And I'm like, stop saying I can do it. Like, because when she say I can do it, then I'm really gonna work on it.
Yeah, I'm going to try it now.
But without her, I don't think I would have spilled milk or myopia or overcome self-inflicted wounds. I wouldn't be where I am in ministry. I don't think I would have, the home we live in. I don't think I would have the desires to do the things that we're
Right.
doing, because I was solo for a while before I met her and didn't have any of it.
Right.
So when you find the right one and and that doesn't mean we're perfect. I'm not even trying to paint that picture. Now we're not at
Right. Right.
odds, but we're not perfect. I bet you use the ask her, I probably get on her nerves more often than not. But she's just so sweet.
Yeah.
but we don't have that kind of relationship where it's let's
Yeah.
talk, let's
Yeah.
converse, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And but yeah, with her, man, it's easier.
So you've been married, you said almost 5 years. In your opinion, what's the key to a successful marriage?
Communication. I believe
Yes.
because there's going to be days where you're not up to par and you need a great partner that can carry that while you're down, right?
Right.
And the same thing and vice versa, right? When she's
Right.
down, I got to be able to keep her, from falling. And but that goes with
That
with
balance.
with everything, yeah. And so if you communicate like, "Hey, I'm not having a good day," instead of snapping, it's a lot better,
Yeah.
right? Or if you make a mistake, own that mistake, right?
Right.
Stop trying to act like you're not perfect. And I mean, I try to be. I know I'm not, but I be putting forth that perfect effort, B.
Trying.
I be, even when I mess up, I'm perfect at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
my
Because I'm gonna
mistakes are
learn
perfect.
from it.
Yeah, and so, but I had to learn because in the beginning, I wasn't always getting it right with her. There's certain things like she doesn't like that I would do, and but to me, I was like, why does that bother you? But
Right.
I had to learn, like, wait a minute, I'm asking the wrong thing. I didn't say, well, how do I fix it? Because that bothers you, I need to work on it. Not why does that bother you? But if she tells you that it bothers her, then you should try to avoid doing that.
Right.
Now 10 years ago, ask me if I would have cared about any of that. No, this is who I am, and I don't care about it. You just gonna have to get used to it.
Yeah. Growth.
And then you figure out, but them that gets you nowhere.
Yeah.
Divorce, you learn real quick. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute. And like I said, it doesn't mean that I did something wrong in those. I'm saying I had to learn myself.
Right.
And but if you communicate, talk, pray together. And I don't mean you have to do it every night because some nights, man, I fall asleep on the couch, fall asleep sitting in my chair because I be
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens.
But when I go to bed, well, let's pray. Or sometimes we'll stand and pray in the mornings, or whatever. Whenever we can, or in the evenings, whenever we can. But just try to pray together as much as you can, preferably daily. But if you can't, don't cry over
Right.
spilled milk.
Right. Right.
Just try to be better the next day, right? So I just say each day learn. And I think like Janice had a song like college, right? A woman is like college. You got to learn them every day. And that is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I gotta pay attention because my wife changed. Okay, I gotta watch it. Gotta watch it. And they're not gonna tell you. They're not gonna tell you. You gotta learn that stuff. You gotta figure. You gotta
Oh
study.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. So your wife got a book also, right?
Yeah, she's
Let's let,
working
let's
on finishing it up. It's
let's
called
promote
Lyric
that a
Song.
little bit.
All right. So this is her book. This is what it like. It's called Lyric Song, and this is she's talking about. It's based on true story. So about her life growing up, and then she's trying to let everybody know that sometimes the problem within your home, especially moms and daughters, is not essentially just the fault of the mother. There might be underlying things going on.
Right.
She's talking about mental health and or the scars of her mother, the things that happened to her mother that people probably didn't know about, and stuff like that that affected her, that she just projected it on to her, and so meaning to my wife. Um,
Right.
and so it's going to be a good read for those who are in the same situation today.
So where can we find you all books or when when they come out? I know your last one and hers.
So uh, when they come out, so mine, Myopia and Spill Milk both are on Amazon now currently. Overcoming Self-Inflicted Wounds will be on Amazon soon, and Lyric Song will be on Amazon as well. Also, our websites. Now, our websites, I had to tear my website down to rebuild it because I needed to do certain things. And so it's being reconstructed. But once that is completed, I'm going to try to keep it close to the same. Obviously, you can't use the same one, but I'm going to try to keep it close. Probably be Angelo M. Goshen, so just Angelo Goshen. But once the information is out, I'll be blasting on all my social media platforms and stuff, and where you can get your copies autographed and personalized copies of my book, and likewise for sharing.
Speaking of your social media, where can we follow you? Where can we find you at?
Yeah, so my Instagram, Angelo M. Goshen, Facebook, Angelo Goshen, LinkedIn. I'm on everything. I think I even have. I guess it's called X now. I don't use it. I don't even know why I have it, but it's there. It's just Angelo Goshen also,
Okay. Okay.
and my Goshen Shares YouTube.
Bro, I man, it took us a while to get here. I appreciate your patience. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for stopping by the show. Angelo Goshen, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, man. Thank you for having me. It's been fun. I really enjoyed myself. I appreciate you thinking a little on me.
Man, we got plenty of practice out of this, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Already.
did.